Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cult Catch Up, our shorter format, more regular podcast where we take a look at what's been going on in the hobby world in the last week or so. And we have a little chat about what we've been up to with our videos on the various platforms and other behind the scenes stuff. And joining me, as ever, is Andy. You all right, mate?
Hello. I'm good.
As ever,
good connection.
We had Matt in for you, didn't we, last week, which seemed to go down really well. People enjoyed seeing Matt actually chatting about stuff rather than sat there shaking his head as we try to work technology during a live show.
Yeah, navigate through life without him.
Yeah, this is going to be going out.
Difficult.
When is it? End of October. So you guys have still got a couple of days to go and head over to Matt's October challenge over on the Golden Demon Compendium. Can't wait to see the results of that. We're going to do the live show for October next week, which technically is November, but no one cares. And we're going to be able to feature a bunch of the compendium winners as well for that, which will be fun. So it just gives us a bit more content, but that's going to be an enormous community orc extravaganza. So it will be great. But the reason Matt popped on was because you've been busy. Okay, new stuff. So quite a few new minis. One's caught my eye, one's caught your eye. The other one we've wanted to talk about for ages. So I'm quite glad we're getting to do this last minute recording. So first up, I think I've decided to put, obviously, your man, Fuegan, El Fuego. I mean, happy.
I haven't looked at it for a day, and it's nice to look at it again and go, yes. I'm so happy because, sometimes we say, I don't like this model, and it's not because we want to be miserable and not like miniatures, but we're just honest. But this is amazing. I'm so pleased because, we've seen some Space Marines that have disappointed me and disappointed others. And so there's always a worry, right? But Eldar I love a lot more than Space Marines. So you don't want them to be disappointing. But I'm not at this fantastic. So, yeah, over the moon. Really excited.
Yeah, and this, of course, is the new glow up after 30 years. Fuegan, the Fire Dragon's Phoenix Lord from the Eldar. Very, very faithful to the original, isn't it, this sculpt?
Yeah, I found it interesting reading comments saying his gun's too long. And I was like, did you not see the original? It's perfect.
Well, it's called a fire pike, isn't it? Well, certainly what it was called many moons ago.
And some people said they don't like his helmet design. I was thinking, have you not seen the original?
It is a big hat. Like
it's amazing.
It's a very big hat. Someone was saying the other day he was cosplaying as a Chaos Dwarf. Like I mean, I'm fine with big hats. Big hat energy's absolutely okay in my books. But I guess it's funny, isn't it? I wonder what it's like coming at this model as a new person, as in without any of that real nostalgic. I mean, I say nostalgic. Presumably, up until fairly recently, you could still buy that metal model, could you? Of
Hey, I painted it this year, remember?
Of course, yeah, you painted it at Christmas, didn't you?
Yep, used it in games.
So that kind of dies on its arse, doesn't it? Saying, I wonder what people come into it new are like. I agree with you. I'm very, very happy. I love Space Marines, obviously. I love Eldar. I genuinely think Eldar strongest 40k model range. I can't. You could challenge that, and you could say there's newer ranges that perhaps are ever so slightly more consistent design-wise.
That's simply my problem
because
with
they've all come out.
Yeah.
But there is so much in the Eldar range, and I mean, what are you going to argue is not consistent? I mean, we just have to ignore the mega old stuff, right? That's the only way you get past it, right?
Yeah, but it's still better than some new things coming out.
I mean, I agree with you on that one, but like even things like the Viper, which is, again, the best part of 30 years old, it's still nice. It still works. And I wonder if that's because of that consistent design.
It's rumoured that there's a new Viper, which...
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Oh, it's rumoured, that there's a new Viper. Which...
like, what are the other rumours? Because like I very rarely read rumour stuff because I just don't have time.
nor me, but they appear in various WhatsApp groups. I think the big one's the Warp Spider Phoenix Lord.
Oh, cool! Because he hadn't he disappeared or something? Is that
Well, there's never been a
background?
model for it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know the background or anything. Warp spiders are, I think, my least favorite aspect, which is
Really?
a very, very unpopular opinion because everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't wait for warp spiders. They're the best, aren't they?" And I'm like, "No, I think they're my least favorite."
What? Why? Out of interest, at least, like visually or from? Because I know with the Eldar, you at least have read the stories, so you're familiar, right? With well, maybe the small piece of text underneath the photographs. Like,
I've read the '90s Codex. That's about it.
oh yeah, that's what I'm basing mine on too.
Yeah,
that's it, right?
I think I never got attached to them because there wasn't a Phoenix Lord. Because I always like the named characters. That's always what gets me excited. And it was harder to get attached to them because there wasn't like a folk. It wasn't like Karandras or anything like that. But yeah, I'm trying to think who my favorite Phoenix Lord is, and I think it is this guy. So
yeah, him, Karandras and Baharas for me.
Well, apparently we're getting both of them.
Really?
This year, yeah. Apparently.
Whoa.
I know it could be the best year ever for me.
you mean presumably you mean next year? Do you?
Yeah.
Right, 2025. I mean, it could be amazing. As I say, I bring this up every time we talk about Eldar. Still, one of my funnest couple of weeks for YouTube was getting to do the different craft worlds because
I know I want to do more.
Mate, that Guardian kit is outstanding.
Best troop kit for me.
Yeah.
I think what's lovely for me now, and I said it at the time, was I have an Eldar army that's playable. So whatever comes out, I can just add to that. So I'm hoping that they come out after March, Golden Demon. Maybe they'll get announced at Adepticon, which is my perfect weekend because I'm allowed to paint them after that.
Yeah.
So
because we talk about quite a lot actually, like we're wondering whether they're going to be dual kits or they're not going to be dual kits and all of that. So I feel like dual kits maybe have gone away a bit.
I just don't think it's possible because a lot of people said, "Oh, you could combine this with this," but I don't think it works with Eldar because the armor design should be subtly different, and I don't think they can do it. But tell me, what do you think about the back banner? Would you keep it on or leave it off?
I really like flags. I genuinely like. I just do. I would remove that one that have a flag, and that's purely down to I don't like sculpted banners. So I would ping it off, brass rod, bit of foil, and have a bat banner on there. Also, it's quite. I mean, I'm going to butcher this now and probably come across quite ignorant, but I'm fairly sure if you look at like feudal Japanese stuff, which there's obviously a heavy influence of for Eldar, I'm pretty sure like that back banner type thing is a thing. And I like that. Like I like those little real world sort of inspiration nods. I think it's fun. What about you? That felt like a leading question.
Well, I think it's great that it's on there because, and I looked at the picture of the back, and it's so easy to have it or not have it. So I think that it should definitely be on the sculpt because it's just an option. Obviously, the original doesn't have to, so I feel like, and I don't think it. I think the silhouette is good with it, but we'll be fine without it too. So I think that's really nice.
That's interesting. Like looking at him now, trying to picture him without it.
And I think it works still.
I do wonder if it balances it out quite nicely.
It does. It does. Well, that's it. It works with it. You've got a nice balance, but I also think it's fine on its own because you've got a nice diagonal line. But
you do.
If I do
you could have a pennant, a lovely little pennant on his fire pike. That could be nice too.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, I'd probably leave it clean to be honest. But I might try and sand off the detail and paint the dragon symbol on the banner. Maybe I just can't wait to get it.
Got a lot of real estate on that hat too. Could have some fun with.
I really enjoyed painting the hat on my metal one actually. I think I'll do something more adventurous when I do this one because I just did a quick job. But I love painting orange. So yeah, nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited. And this was a Daz Latham sculpt, I believe. So another banger.
That's what we think. We think. Not confirmed, but I reckon.
Yeah,
but
I reckon.
Whoever did it, 10 out of 10.
Well done, the team.
Yes. I will say best mini in ages and probably my mini of the year so far. Tell me a better one.
On the spot, no. But a month or so's time when we're recording our retrospective and we have a look back on our phase, it it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But yeah, as a big fan of Eldar who steps back from them because you're an even bigger fan of Eldar, yeah, I'm very happy. I think he's lovely, and I'm always excited about Eldar releases. I genuinely think them and Orcs, to be fair, I think they've absolutely smashed updating them, but retaining everything that made them cool.
I think this is what we wanted and why we sometimes complain. And this is faithful to the old one, but amazing update, really modern. It's bigger, nice scale. It comes with a great base. This is all we want, you know. And I think that's what's been missing from a lot of Space Marine releases, really.
Looks very paintable too, doesn't it? Like very approachable. Doesn't look like there's any tricky bits there. There's some nice different things to, you know, show off on. It's
just spot on. The more I look at it, the more happy I am with it. And even the base is beautiful, which is, you know, I do a lot of converting, which I do enjoy, but sometimes I just want to get a mini out of the packet and paint it, and rather than spend 2 months converting it, because I'm not a good converter, so it takes me so long. But yeah, this is one I definitely have to really take my time on. I'd quite like to do a quick one for our content when it comes out and it's fresh, but then actually spend like three months painting one.
Let's see, you know, let's see what the release is, because there might be some fun to be had with that, right? See what other.
I mean, yeah, if we get more than one Phoenix Lord, that's me sorted. But yeah,
you know, we could have a right giggle with it. So very much the other end of the scale now, with sort of not the far future, but the pretend past. More Lord of the Rings stuff coming out. This is like another character from the upcoming movie and the game that ties in. I've really enjoyed everything that's coming out for it. I really like the new aesthetic that they're going with on the minis. But the other reason I wanted to pop him up was literally just before we started recording, Warhammer Community have popped up a big update about that Lord of the Rings range and essentially what's going. And they framed it in a very positive manner. Whether it's just lip service or not, I don't know. But essentially they were saying this stuff's going, but it's for a good reason. So, you know, read into that what you will. But, you know, for me, I've been itching, you know, like to jump in and do some Lord of the Rings. I just need more of the newer stuff, because I don't have that nostalgia for the Perry era or the original Lord of the Rings stuff. And because of that, I'm only looking at it objectively. And objectively, I don't think they're that amazing, quite a lot of those minis anymore. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the upcoming box and hopefully what that leads on to with it, because you know it's outside of Warhammer, it's the IP I'm most familiar with. You know, it's the usual, lots of people do read it every year. You know, that type of stuff. So yeah, pretty excited about that. So just wanted to mention that one. And the thing that we've both been wanting to talk about for a little bit since we found out is this new. Well, it's nothing to do with painting really. It's the new MDF scenery for Kill Team. It's, I believe, caused a bit of uproar online.
Yeah, I don't see any negatives myself.
I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I'm now a fan.
Okay, I've got my opinion, so let me hear yours.
I've forgotten the slide typically, so I'll overlay it here when I do the editing. So is it called fidelity? I don't know. The quality of the picture that's printed onto this MDF is very, very high. So I'm very happy about that. The edges, super easy to just run some paint down. So you lose that wooden bits, you just pop some grey down there or whatever. But I think what I'm most excited about for it is, and this is all dependent on price level, but if we can see things like nods to the old bunker or the old Firebase, those old card /
just redo
plastic, yeah, like in that. And I'm very excited if that's the sign. And I think I love incredible scenery, and for something like Kill Team, like we chatted about a few weeks ago, the appeal for me for Kill Team is that it can be a very, very immersive miniature experience. I suppose the flip side is also it's designed to be a very playable game, right? A very fluid skirmish game. So like we were talking to my buddies about this, he was saying the fact that he can have this in a box in the kitchen or in the dining room, so he can whip it out, set the table up, get the minis on it without having to go to the hobby room, without having to go and do whatever. It's huge. So I absolutely see the positives. I've also heard a few arguments about is this GW essentially copping out and giving us an inferior product to what they're capable of producing? Because we know the plastic scenery kits that they do are amazing, but they get you can never buy the damn things, right? They sell out within seconds, and they don't ever seem to get a secondary print run. So yeah, I think if the price point is right, and this new Kill Team starter box, 60 something quid, isn't it? Something like that.
Is it that cheap?
Yeah, like everyone's got their. Let me have a look now. Everybody's got their own finances, and I don't care. Like whatever, like mine are mine, yours are yours. Like it's none of my business. But I do think for me, we're a 67.50 direct from GW. So what's that? That's coming in at around 60-ish from a third party store.
Think about how much of a better prospect Kill Team is for new people. I think about playing my games when I was 10 years old with my making my parents play the game with me and not understanding what was going on. But yeah, I just think 60 quid, you got 2 factions each, a manageable amount of models. And the way I think with scenery, because I want to do my first Kill Team, and it's going to take me ages, and then I'm going to finish that Kill Team, and then I've got to paint scenery, and I can't be bothered. I don't have time. And I think it's not replacing scenery, is it? It's just another option. And if it lowers the barriers for people having it, then it's better than unpainted scenery. I think it's great. And also the other option is just cheap cardboard stuff. At least this is high quality, pre-done or whatever. So I just think if you have both, then there's nothing wrong with adding this as an option.
Absolutely. My only complaint is that it's all one level. And 2 reasons. One, like for gaming, like Kill Team's all about levels, which is, so it's a shame you don't get that with that. But also for me, from a nostalgia point of view, like the thought of the card scenery you got in the second edition 40k box, which is what I started with, you had these corner ruins, which had like a little first floor platform in the corner.
That's what I missed from these, yeah, the platform.
Right, and that seems a real shame not to have popped that in on these. But yeah, on the whole, I'm feeling good about it. I'm painting Kill Team at the minute. I did it the other week with the Harakonis. I'm doing it this week with the Death Guard. And exactly as you're saying, the fact that I can just chuck this on a table and it's ready to play, big appeal. I mean, that box, I know we're not new gamers, and I don't suspect we probably appeal to new hobbyists that much. We don't focus our content on new hobbyists by any means, right? So the fact that it's push, whatever the word is, the 2 Space Marines Heroes teams you get in the box, you don't even need clippers. The sprues are designed so you can just push the pieces out, push them together, put this scenery together, and you're playing. Now, that removes essentially everything I enjoy from the hobby by doing that. But I suspect this box isn't aimed at me. So yeah, I like it. I really, really hope they run with it and do some more cool scenery.
I
do.
Just
they do that
fire
base and that bastion and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, mate, like it's just
it's best scenery ever made.
Oh, just too good, too good. So yeah, that's a biggie. So let's have a look at what you've been up to the last couple of weeks. So why was Matt on the other week and you weren't here? Well, you were off in Eindhoven.
Well, Matt was there as well, but I
was trying not to shock you. Yeah, I was trying.
You can chuck me under the bus.
I'll open it with, so why was Matt also over in Eindhoven but able to do the podcast last time? Because you weren't just there as a punter, correct?
Correct. I was doing the Judge Judy.
Exciting, eh? Only a few years ago, you'd just gone to SMC.
2015, yeah.
Feels like a few years ago, yeah.
9 years ago, yeah. I went to my first one.
I know.
Which is scary.
when we did the live podcast, SMC was one of the earlier episodes where we covered it, and we wanted to talk about these big miniature shows that weren't Golden Demon, and it was really well received. So yeah, it's really nice to I imagine for you to get asked to go over and judge.
Great. It is amazing, actually.
People want to see the history of the event, so go back and look under the live tab or in the Culture of Paint playlist, and there's a whole SMC dedicated episode. And obviously each year we tend to talk about the results and stuff from it when we do the live show. But how did it feel? I'll ask you about the judging and stuff in a minute, but how did it feel going after we've now done a show and are, whatever the word is, people who put on painting competitions?
I mean, it's the benchmark for me.
Right.
This is the show I would like us to be most like. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's the most influential for me in our show. It does what we want to do. You know, Monty's special because of its location, and we're never going to be in a castle in Italy with cheap pizza. Some hipster in Bristol could give you some very expensive pizza, but so I think that, yeah, SMC is closer to what I would like us to be like, and yeah, and it's kind of appreciate it more now. Yeah, it's just a fantastic show. They had their best turnout ever, 2,800 entries over that, which is at least double Golden Demon Spiel. So pretty crazy.
I mean, that's why they had an enormous judging team.
They did, yeah. Maybe too many, but they had. Yeah,
lovely looking bunch. Eh?
Yeah. Well, what they have is they had people that specialized in their subject. So I was judging small scale miniatures, which most people would call normal scale. So just Warhammer size things, which is a category they added only a couple years back, but it was to separate large scale 75mm minis and busts from the 28mm stuff. And so yeah, I was part of the team doing that, which is cool. And then you had people, you know, the historical guys doing historical, and the modeling guys doing that, sculptors judging the sculpting. So it's amazing, really, to have those separate teams, and then everyone comes together to do the best of show as well. So, you know, you have a lot of people deciding the best of show, which is great. But yeah, it's really well organized, and we had so few models to go through in comparison, because there was 3 of us just doing the one category, so we could spend a lot of time and make sure we did a thorough job, basically, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose I wanted to talk briefly on that. I think, having spoken to the organisers a couple of years ago when that new category had just come in, and I remember them speaking so well about how that painting the smaller scale, particularly Warhammer stuff, was a thing. Now, that was what was bringing people. New painters tended to be, the majority came via that as opposed to historical or scale modelling. And I think it's great to see that the judges, you know, from that big picture, it's great to see some, I mean, no disrespect to people that have, you know, gone before, but it's great to see some new, fresher, next-gen faces in the judging team. I think it shows, it's just another reason why I think I've got a lot of respect for it as a competition. You know, they rotate, and it's not so much trading on reputation either. You know, it's current painters. It's you know, it's people, as you say, it's people experienced in their field. You know, you judged it with 2A and Marco, right? You know, 3 fantastic, relevant, current, modern hobbyists. 3 very different styles. But again, you know, all people who are very well thought of in their, you know, respective sort of niches. And I just, yeah, it just really impressed me when I saw that photo of it, and I thought, you know, that's, again, as you're saying, things to aspire to, you know, and SMC certainly inspires us in certain ways. But yeah, so you because I know you were bricking it going out initially about the judging, but I think you had quite a good time, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just not a problem at all. You get, they everyone leaves, so you're there on your own,
Mm.
and yeah, so we just had all this space, and I was lucky to be with Marco and Tue, who were very good to talk about miniatures with. We had no arguments, um, had many discussions. I think in general, I learnt that I'm what's the word? Quite stingy on the awards. Yeah, I wasn't very generous in awards. So, like, if it was me on my own, I think there would have been a lot less awards given out,
Mm.
which is nice. And then to balance with the other guys, and yeah, I just think yeah, we came together and agreed on everything. So yeah, it was just great. But it's good because you can kind of make your decisions, and we laid everything out. So we had a completely separate table, and we brought all the winners onto that table, and everyone could kind of bring in, I think they should win. Then we organized them into gold, silver, bronze, and then you can look at them all, and then you can rearrange what you want. So initially, I won't say which pieces, but we had 2 golds at one point, and then we, eventually changed to 4, I think. So we're like, oh no, actually, this is great. This should get bumped up, and we added a few more bronzes because we thought, oh, there's not very many here, and you're not sort of adding for the sake of it. But you're thinking, let's go back and let's look. Are there any pieces actually that really deserve to win something? And the hardest thing is bronze or nothing.
Yeah.
And that is tough. Some things are obviously nothing, but then there's stuff, and you're trying to make that divide line. And from my point of view, really, was I want the 28 mil stuff to be judged as harshly as the large scale, because I didn't want it to have less prestige. I want it to be as good to win as the large scale stuff. And at these shows, it is mostly about the large scale figures or whatever. But I just want the 28 mil to be as prestigious, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, that's great. And best to show this year, coming from someone we featured very regularly on the live show, Magnus. Super cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Nice
to see a commercial figure win, actually. I think it's a really important thing to talk about.
Right, as opposed to it being a one-off. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's something I'd like to talk about separately, really, but I'm thinking about it a lot. I've picked a piece for SMC next year, and I'm going to do a commercial model, but go all out on it. And yeah, I think that's cool. I think that, it's nice getting custom pieces or whatever you want to call them. And I will have one for Monty just because I want something made. But yeah, I just think it's nice to have these available figures. I think it's good for people to see. And also, it's a very moody, different style, which I think is great.
I mean, I've been a fan of Magnus's for sort of since I started really getting more into the bigger stuff. And as you say, it's style. It's prolific as well, And it's often when pieces of Magnus's pops up, it's usually like a World War II one or a historical piece.
Oh, he wins historical every time, right?
Right. So it's really nice to see a fantasy piece from him as well. So just big congratulations to everybody and the organisers, because again, it sounds like it was a fantastic event, and I'm really hoping we can be there next year, sort of en masse or in force, to enjoy it. So yeah, that's why you were a bit busy. Always nice out in the Netherlands, though. Holland.
Yeah, I love it.
Holland? I can't remember.
Yeah, Netherlands, Eindhoven. But yeah, I love the organisers, Margot and Robert. Robert's talk for the judges was just fantastic. Hilarious, and at the same time, he's just a good guy to be around, really. So always happy to help with that show. And yeah, it's I think back to going to the first time, especially Monty, me and Rich, just being like, what the hell is this? So it's yeah, it's pretty special for me to get to a point doing the judging. So yeah, and I feel warmed up to judge at Monty in 2 weeks' time as well.
I know, right? It's coming thick and fast. Thick and fast. Nah, good stuff. Well, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, mate. And guys, if you want to see any of the results from that, go give him a follow over on the socials. Obviously, you've got Magnus's account up on the screen there as well, but I will link down in the description the SMC website and whatnot from there, because they usually do a brilliant gallery, don't they? of the winners and stuff like that. So yeah, super cool. So what have we been up to in the meantime? So the week last time I did this with Matt, I think I'd just done some kill team stuff, and you had done that first Infinity video with the Pano stuff. So last week over on YouTube, I did the other faction from that starter box from Sandtrap, which was the JSA. Big fan. I love that aesthetic. I love that style. And yeah, most fun I've had. I've said that a lot recently. That must be a good thing. I had a lot of fun painting it. Put it that way. For many reasons, really. I guess the two chief amongst them are it wasn't Games Workshop, so it's always nice to go outside your comfort zone. And two, I had no idea how to paint it, so I just started hurling paint at it, and I quite like what happened. And a few things from that I would like to maybe refine and play around with on future pieces. But yeah, it was pretty easy to pick the mini to do from this set as well for that video. I don't know. How do you feel about the Infinity? Like, I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it. We've got another Infinity video in a couple of weeks' time as well. Like, I've really enjoyed it.
I would like to do more if I wasn't painting our Kickstarter models, but yeah, I really like Infinity, and I think from you only have to watch my video and you compare Primaris to the Infinity, and there's just so much more detail in a good way, and it's crisp and good. I think that I like large scale minis, so if they had the normal ones large scale, I'd love it, but that's why I like the tags, and I picked up that tag, and it's the first time I've had a resin Infinity model, and it's a bigger one. So, but I'd like to paint that properly, I think, not rush it, not do it like table level, just paint it for painting. And yeah, it'd just be nice to do something different, because I love that style, like loads of battle damage, stripes, that kind of sci-fi look, and a lot of the fantasy stuff I paint. Horses and deers and that, you just don't get to do those skills. So yeah, I've seen another tag recently that I'd not seen before. It's got 2 guns. And
it's hugely narrow it down, does it?
No, because they normally got one massive gun, so this has got 2.
Okay.
It's a tag with 2 pistols is pretty rare. Anyway, it's really cool, and I want to paint that as well. So yeah, I'd like to do a couple. It's just adding it to the queue, right? That's the horrible thing. So
yeah, it is. It's true, but I mean, hopefully, so one of the ideas for these weekly pods was to sort of have a chat about the videos, really, and what's thrown up from them. So, did you have any questions?
What color is the armor? In your intention of the color of the armor?
Ivory.
Yeah, so I thought that it was supposed to be ivory, but you're halfway to doing an amazing non-metallic kind of silver.
In nothing, yet everything is intentional that I've done on this paint job, if that makes sense. Like, everything's deliberate, but I genuinely didn't know what I was doing until I started doing it. I tried to work it out. I tried to figure out, how do I do this? Do I use the airbrush? Do I not use the airbrush? Like, I wasn't approaching it how you were, where you wanted to show that you do not have to paint this in the traditional style. But equally, I wasn't trying to paint it as a display piece. It was meant to be, a couple of session paint job type thing, right? So you could do your kill. It's not called a kill team, is it? But you could do your strike team, whatever it's called, in a month, which I think is pretty reasonable, right? If you can paint over a month, evening hobby sessions and stuff, and you can get like a 5 to 10 man team done, I'd consider that like a happy hobby like level, right? And I just didn't really know what to do. So I knew when I did them Harakoni walks the other week, I did a lot of texture to present battle damage, and I really enjoyed it. And a few weeks prior to that, I did a bone video where I painted a lot of texture. And I suppose subconsciously, I've just been enjoying doing that. And with this, it's not meant to represent battle damage and stuff necessarily. It's just meant to be a style, which is why I tried to paint nearly everything on the model in that way. And I just kind of tried to pay attention to where light would probably be. I tried to make it make sense on the model, but not stressing about it being 100% accurate. it was the least stressful paint job I've done in, in donkeys, mate, because I was just like throwing the paint at it. And I think it's really cool. I'm not going to lie. Like, most of the time, I'm very dissatisfied with what I end up with. I wasn't remotely dissatisfied with this. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, enjoyed that. Enjoyed every minute of it. And I think, yeah, I'm quite sure.
I mean, it reminds me of we've said it before, so it's coming back, but it's looking like Rich Grey stuff, which I know you're a fan of. So
that's it, right? So maybe there must be some conscious stuff going on, right? Because like I look at very little hobby stuff. Like I just don't. I'm so focused on us that when it's personal time, I don't tend to look at hobby. You know, I look at my mate stuff in WhatsApp chats and enjoy that, but I don't. Like, if I go on Instagram, it's to look at old motorbikes and Land Rovers and things like that. It's not to look at miniatures.
I learned that judging, do you know?
Right? How so?
Well, I'd not seen any of the minis, and I didn't know who'd painted them. You know, and there were people there that I met. I met loads of new people as well, and you know, people from the UK and the UK scene, and people like I came to the MPO, and I'm like, oh, I don't know you, feel bad. But yeah, just, you know, there's lots of people that I don't know, lots of painters I don't follow, and that was cool.
That's good. Right?
There's a guy who won gold, and I think it was one of the best minis that I judged, and it was an Eldar figure, but it was probably the most atmospheric, and everyone loved it because everything had like purple light with these ivory highlights, which is really hard to do. It was very well done. I know it got nothing at Golden Demon, and we gave it a gold. But yeah, it was really well done, and I have no idea who did it, so I need to find out.
We need to go on a hunt. Yeah.
So that was cool.
I don't know. Maybe I need to go and do it like we spoke about the other week, a bit more personal. When we were doing the Patreon only section, I sort of said I quite fancied doing a bit of personal improvement, you know, with painting, a bit of study. Yeah, maybe I do need to go and sort of study some people like Rich and other people's work a bit more. But
well, this is very like him. You know, you got your light source in there. You're hitting it. It's got lots of texture and brush marks, which is what he likes to do. And it's got like a dark atmosphere, not like a cartoony bright one. And that's what reminds me of his stuff with this. The palette, the texture, the feel and stuff. And I know that you like him the best for 40k stuff. So
he's right up there. It's fun. And we know Rich well, like, you know, I'm not talking behind his back here or anything. Like, when Rich nails it, it's some of my favorite stuff. But I certainly don't like all his stuff, if that makes sense. But I think for me, he's right up there with, yeah, when he gets it. Like, and that's me being really rude, when he gets it in my head, not as in, you know, not as in he's obviously got it. But there's certain pieces, and I still go back to that blue Night Lancer he did, that Zinch Night Lancer he did, and because I know for you, the Thanatar that he did is you always talk about that piece, and that to me, like, I enjoy it, but I'm not like, there's a lot of pieces I prefer to that.
Well, I love that because it's Gryffindor, which is the best night house. But I mean, Rich has got so much better since the Thanatar, so it's hard to compare. But yeah, I just thought, looking at this, and I knew you were doing like a white armor and stuff like that. I did it before, actually. I painted this, I don't know if you remember, but I painted our Garrett model and it was white armor, and I'm going to say, oh, I really like your NMM silver. I was like, yeah, cool. But I think, you know, I don't know what you'd feel like painting a whole model non-metallic silver. Maybe you'd think, oh, I don't want to do that, but this is pretty much nailed it.
Mate, you know what it is. It's I haven't put thought into painting something for a long time, outside of what do I need to cover in this video? How do I need to film it?
How can I paint this
in 3
one
days,
day?
yeah, and get it up, get it edited. You know, but it's been nice. It's, you know, it's made me want to go and do that more than I already did. You know, so but the flip side of it was, I think it was nice to do a piece like this that is still, in my opinion, 100% like gaming our gaming level. So people who really love painting, this to me is a gaming level. By which, as I said before, I mean that I could get a gang of these guys done within a few weeks of hobby time. So,
well,
but
all
that
that
was
makes it
exciting
gaming
too.
is quick, right? If
Right.
it's gaming, you're doing it in an efficient way, and if you can make something look this good in an efficient way, it's still gaming.
But you know what it's like? Like it's really we speak about it, don't we? With generally when we do our gaming stuff, we try to just execute everything really well. But that might mean that everything on there is to a much more basic level. It didn't feel necessarily like I was being basic on this, but I guess that was largely because nearly everything on it I hadn't painted like that before, ever. Like the trousers are just contrast paint.
Nice.
So, but it felt like when I looked at the mini, I did a mega simple zenithal highlight on it, white over black highlight. And I was like, oh, I reckon Black Templar over this will work.
Is that Black Templar, is it?
Yeah, because it's grey, basically.
Well, this is probably the only video I haven't watched of yours recently because I was away when it came out. But I watch all the videos, but this is the one I haven't seen yet. So
yeah, it was just black, and again, that I think is what made it feel like a gaming paint job is because there's less than 10 paints on the whole model, which is again great, right? No real mixing other than a bit on the palette, but nothing like crazy. Nothing that matters if I get it slightly different the next time. Enjoyed using a bit of magenta, whatever it's called, the magenta contrast paint, magenta ink. Was a good bit of fun. I enjoyed you using that magenta color on your pano stuff. I was like, that's a nice little poppy bit. That it's our reds on the sword handles.
Nice.
Who knows? One day maybe people will be able to buy them. Yeah, it's
2025 people.
2025, yeah. But no, thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope that came across anyway, and I'm really glad people have enjoyed the Infinity content, Rumours. We will continue to do it every so often.
As long as they pay us.
It helps. It's a sponsored video, obviously, but it didn't, like you said with Pano, it didn't feel like a job. Like it was enjoyable to do. So that's the key, right? I just love that Japanese style. I just think it's cool. It's why I like White Scars. It's why I like these guys.
I just want to do bigger ones. I just want to do the tags.
They did do. Was it a Kickstarter they did for like some busts or something once upon a time? I feel like I've seen it before.
But I'd like full figures. Like I'd like 75s or whatever. But I got a resin tag. It's basically a large scale.
This dude's a nice size though. Hang on, let me get.
Yeah, they're big.
I keep forgetting.
A tiny bit smaller than Primaris, aren't they?
Yeah, I keep forgetting how heavy it is. I'm going to pick it up. Where are we? So that's quite an upright Primaris model.
Yeah, same as the blue guy I did then. Yeah. They'd be bigger than a Marine, but smaller than a Primaris.
But I remember Infinity stuff being teeny tiny. This hasn't. I don't know whether there's been a tiny bit of scale creep or something, but it was good. It's really good. But yeah, nice. So that's what I've been up to. And obviously over on Patreon, we've had the completion of your Gone Demon series, and I think you said you were doing a top tips video coming up.
Yes. Right? So I will give you I've given lots of feedback to people recently at competitions. And the same stuff comes up over and over again. So I thought I'm going to do a top tips video for competitions. And there's bits that people keep not doing. And that's the fault of the top end painters because they're emulating them. But when top end painters are lazy, it doesn't mean that you should either. So paint the back.
Look forward to that. So yeah, we've got that coming out on Patreon. And then we've got, when we finish this recording, we go and do some Q&A stuff for the Patreon episode as well. That's been really fun. There's been a ton since you've been away, so we can really dig into some of those. They're quite crunchy, some of them. So if you want to be proper paint nerd, go and check that out. So that's it for this episode, guys. Just wanted to say in a few days' time, entries will open, or the entry form will go live for the MPO online. You want to go check that out, miniaturepaintingopen.co.uk. You can see all the details and all the previous years for competition. But it's our big celebratory end of year competition. You can see all the categories from last year. You can see the categories for this year. Matt's done some brilliant tweaks to the submissions process. We can't wait to get stuck in with the judging. Really excited to have Dave and Eric joining us as well for that. And if I look distracted, it's because I keep checking our emails to see if the contracts come through for our MPO Bristol competition next year. But yeah, hopefully, save the dates. 25th, 26th May. We're back. It's bigger.
That's the date confirmed, is it?
That's the date we've got.
Officially
Unless
announced
something goes
right now.
horribly, horribly wrong between the time I edit and chuck this up. Yeah, that's the date. That's the save the date for it. So it's a week later than we did it this year, but we'll always try and keep it around that time, as we said. That's sort of mid to late May. We feel like it's a nice slot, and one we're sort of keen to do. So yeah, very, very exciting times with all of that. And as ever, that's down to everyone over on Patreon and everyone who supports us, because we wouldn't be able to do it without you all. So if you've got any questions or any topics you'd like us to cover, you can reach out to us at all the usual places. Over on Culture of Paint, the monthly live show, we do a lot more community-focused stuff. As I say, on these shorter ones, we just want to have a quick chat about anything that's popped up recently or what we've been doing and stuff behind the scenes. So anything else you wanted to say, mate?
When the tickets go live for the real MPO, please buy them straight away. Because it's sold out very quickly last year, so don't sleep on it. I'm just saying. Just get on it.
Wait. I am so excited about it. It inspired by SMC, absolutely, but also really enjoying putting our own stamp on it. I just can't wait to have people, to host people, and yeah, it's going to be brilliant. But let's enjoy MPO online during November, get the awards, and then let's roll into next year ready to go. So thanks, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.